Most of them, strangely enough, even the ones interviewed, in the discharge section, they didn't like talking about their services, tried to not remember it. Oh, that's over. We've forgotten it. That's out, That was their attitude. Quite a few of them, especially the prisoners of war, that's out of it. The day the bus came back with the prisoners of the Japanese, and they got off the bus, I would just about say there wasn't a dry eye. It was so hard on some of them. They'd see, mothers, and they'd see some of them being hugged and not being able to. The mothers wouldn't let the sons go when they. Oh, it was that was the greatest. My greatest memory was the day they came home. It was heartbreaking to see some of them come back and not be greeted by anybody, have no one to greet them. That was where the tears used to see them there. I remember this young doctor, he had his hands over his eyes like this. He was in the section. I was only an onlooker. And I went over to him, and all he said, I didn't think I'd ever see a human being look like that. That's the way some of the prisoners of war looked like. Well, parents didn't recognise their own children, their own sons. Well, I never saw them until after they were through medical and everything and going into rehabilitation, and I had the opportunity of spending quite a lot of time speaking with them. They'd be sitting out there, and I really think I was fortunate in being able to comfort them in sort of a way to let them back into Australia and that sort of thing. And there I was, but supposed to be doing my job, and here I am out there talking to these blokes that they were so pleased just to have someone to talk to, especially a female. When they were discharged, they had to go through rehabilitation and the medical and that sort of thing. It's just interviewing the soldiers as they came through. Now, are you going back to your same job, or have you got a job to go to? And then if they didn't, they'd go to the civilian part of it. They'd been through a lot, and they're just so pleased to be getting that discharge certificate. Once they got their discharge, they'd be so happy to be out, but others didn't know what they were going to do. When they were taking women, I joined the army for the mere fact that they weren't taking women in the Air Force or Navy at that time. So I enlisted in the AWARs in the army. He joined the NISAM, which was the N-class destroyers, and he was on the NISAM and then was overseas there, and then the evacuation of Crete, and he saw a lot of service, and then he had he was repatriated back here to Melbourne, and then was on loan to the American Navy. Well, as a matter of fact, my husband was out of he got his discharge. We were married in uniform. I couldn't get out because I was in the discharge section. I eventually did, but it was hard, and he was out of the Navy and going back to his job at the paper office, and I didn't go back to work until 12 months after or something like that, when they called on me to go back to my old job as the office girl, but I was no girl by that stage.